talk about, Atlanta came out with the campaign that Atlanta was the city too busy to hate. Is that true? And what are your memories of that time, or had you already?
Well, was Atlanta a city too busy to hate? I would say that there were periods when the city was punctuated with hate. For you had Lester Maddox, hatred. The Ku Klux Klan out there at Stone Mountain, hatred. They marched here in the city. In fact, when we went to the state capitol, the presidents of the colleges were very fearful for us in that march. But we went anyhow, and after we went past the Klan, we had a meeting over at Wheat Street Baptist Church, where Dr. William Holmes Borders was the pastor, and he led protests against segregation on the buses here and worked for voter registration campaigns along with Dr. Grandmaster John Wesley Dobbs, Maynard Jackson's grandfather. There were moments that we were tarnished and tarred by hate. But at the heart, there were persons who said, we're going to work together. And Ivan Allen, who worked with us, Ralph McGill, the paper, Atlanta Journal, worked with us. And other human relations councils were developed. Agnes Scott School worked with us. But we cannot present a romanticized picture of Atlanta, for there were instances of hate. Hate doesn't always come with somebody being in your face. But when Dr. Mays delivered his final commencement address, he said, on tomorrow, our problem will not come from rabid segregationists like Lester Maddox, Ross Barnett of Mississippi, Forbes of Arkansas, George Wallace of Alabama. He said it will come from so-called liberals and progressives who will wine and dine you in swanky hotels, who will have conversations with you, but will refuse to share economic power with you. That old man was wise. And that's what's happening today. That's why we have all of this violence in Chicago. That's why we have this violence in Atlanta, and Oakland, and San Francisco. It's because the people are living in impoverished conditions, and they do not have the means to take care of their daily bread, take care of their health care, and all of the other amenities of life. We must stop blaming the victims. African Americans have been victims of what Condoleezza Rice calls this great birth defect, race. The White House was built by slaves. Congress was built by slaves. We had 96 years of separate but equal. We didn't get that 40 acres and mule that we should have had when Sherman marched across Georgia, ended up in Savannah and met with those 20 black preachers and asked them, what do you feel the Union owes you? An old man named Garrison Frazier spoke up and he said, I can't speak, General, for everybody, but why can't we have some of this land that we've been slaving on? Why can't we have 40 acres and a mule so we would be able to take care of our families, educate our children, have businesses? And out of that conversation with those 20 black preachers of all denominations, General Sherman issued Field Order Number 15, ordering that 40 acres and a mule be provided from the coast of Florida into South Carolina and into Georgia. But what happened? after President Lincoln was assassinated, Andrew Johnson from Tennessee became president, and he revoked Field Order 15 and was almost impeached because it also would have destroyed Freedmen's Bureau that established Howard University. And that's what threw us into this peonage system of sharecropping. And consequently, that has caused us to be thrown into the abyss, pushed down to the bottom of the barrel economically in this country. But I thank God that Dr. Mays saw it coming, and that there are some of us who have enough sense to see that if we're going to deal with this demon, this sickness of racism, we must have economic empowerment, education, health care, and healthy respect for our own culture and history.
Sir. Yeah, so true. Two things. I know we gotta. What do you remember, or can you speak to the movement lawyers?
Oh, I have exciting fond memories of Donald Holloway, Vernon Jordan, Ruby Hurley, who was the Southeast Regional Secretary. She was not a practicing lawyer, but she was trained in law. And NAACP was outlawed in Alabama after the Montgomery bus boycott. That's why Dr. King and others, Dr. Abernathy, organized the Southern Christian Leadership Conference because they outlawed NAACP. But all of the movement began under the rubric and auspices of NAACP. Even Rosa Parks was secretary of the Montgomery, Alabama branch and was advisor to the Youth Council. I thank God for Thurgood Marshall, but there was that cadre of lawyers who were all ready to get us out of jail, and wherever there needed to be suits filed, they were there. Black lawyers, and trained in our black colleges like Howard University Law School.
And then I think just one more question. What do you, tell me who Lester Maddox was, and if you had any specific memories of that.
I remember it being
State his name.
Lester Maddox. What I remember about him, he was a segregationist, mean-spirited, and even condoned passing out axe handles. To think that one would be that physical, that violent, and emerge to the office of governor. But that reflected the mindset of the people. And there's a resurgence of that today. Why do you think that people are so excited about Donald Trump? It's because they are feeling that here's somebody who represents our thoughts, our sentiment, and our feelings. And it's time that white America, that has felt this great sense of entitlement, get over it and realize that we all are members of the human family. According to Leakey, the paleontologist, we all came from Africa. And the only reason why we have these racial distinctives and features is because of geographical and climatical conditions as we travel around the world from Africa to Asia and ultimately over here. But we need to do what our mothers and fathers always told us when we left home. When you leave home, behave. Don't take anything from anybody that doesn't belong to you. Don't ask for anything, let it be offered to you. This is what has happened to the human family, this attitude of them against us against them. And that was in the mind of the segregationists. I'm going to get you black people before you get us. And even if we have to do it through the Ku Klux Klan to terrorize you, we're going to make sure that we keep you down. But Booker T. Washington said so eloquently, you can't keep another man or woman down in the ditch without getting down there yourself. And we have been down in the South economically. Look at a place today like Selma, Alabama, with all the poverty that's still there, and lack of health care, and educational attainment achievement being so low in that state, and Mississippi. We must come together and live as brothers and sisters, or perish as fools, as Dr. King so eloquently said.